morning and welcome back to our Step Back in Time program. This is a program where we take a look at written accounts of the history of Waynesboro and the surrounding communities to remember and to see what life was like years and years ago. This month we've been taking our stories from the book Life in Our County with Hank Hayseed, and these are short excerpts that appeared in the Record Herald prior to June of 1952. So there may be those out there who still recall and remember the things we're reading about in this short series. Today's story is entitled For Old Timers Only, and the subtitle is B.F. Hartman Recalls the Boyhood Days and the Old Hoover Spring. In the vesper years of life, the old-timer will sit down in front of a slow-burning log fire in the parlor and start reminiscing about the beautiful days of his boyhood, early life in Waynesboro, a community rich in history and heavy with legend. Who doesn't cherish his boyhood memories, so sweet with nostalgia and flavored with times gone by? B.F. Hartman was doing a bit of this type of recalling the other day. But while he was remembering, he was also writing. He jotted down his thoughts on a sheaf of scrap bits of paper. Eventually, the notes found their way to our desk. We set down Mr. Hartman's thoughts almost exactly the way they came to us. Right now, I am thinking of a spot no one should fail to visit. It is the Hoover Spring near Rouserville. This is a rich memory to me. The spring is still there, bubbling, clear, and sparkling bright as ever. The area which it covers seems much smaller than when I was a boy. It is located on the old Hoover homestead at the ancient, stately stone mansion once occupied by the late Jacob Hoover, brother-in-law of Dr. Henry Harbaugh, noted author, theologian, and poet. The tract consisted of land on both sides of the then Turnpike, now Buchanan Highway. It was one of the finest farms in Washington Township. Many cottages now occupy much of the land that was once corn, wheat, oat, and potato fields. The old stone house is still there, and so is the spring. It has never failed. I remember how the only means of transportation from Rouserville, then Pikesville, and Frogtown was Walker's hack. You supplied your own motive power. People not living along the turnpike would go by back road through Schlasherburg, along Jug Street, then around by the Hoover place, coming out on the turnpike just beyond the Jonas Shockey lime kilns, another ancient history. After passing Schlasherburg, we came to the small plank bridge over the rippling run from Indian Spring. Here, if I had forgotten my shoes and left them at home on the old front porch, I would stop on the little bridge, sit down, and give my feet a refreshing dip in the cool spring water. The water was carried from this spring to the Abram Shockey home and down in distillery in wooden pipes, may have been made and put there by Michael Hanstein of Waynesboro. From this little bridge, it was only a short distance until we came to the old footlog, swung high across the Red Run Creek. Here we had to hold on to a pole cut from a nearby thicket and use it as a handrail to guard from tumbling into the creek. We would tarry a bit to look at the fish, suckers, then crawl off the old log. Next we looked around the bend of the old garden fence, and there was the big Hoover Spring flowing across the road. To make our way across this place, we found an old hewn log laid low. You could cross it easily by holding to the paling fence. Here we paused to look between the palings as the spring bubbled up from beneath the large limestone rocks. Of course, we were thirsty, so we went in through the creaky swinging gate, crossed on the large flagstones. In a moment, we were under the high porch and taking the bright tin cup from the stone wall, and then we were dipping a cupful of the cool water. Thus refreshed, we continued on our way to Waynesboro. And that is our story this morning from the series. We hope you enjoyed it. Maybe some of you remember making that hike. It was many, many years ago. So if you do recall, why not share in our comments? So until next time, please keep searching about things about Waynesboro. Learn more about the town where you're living. We would love to hear some of your stories. Until then, keep searching.